Yo, what's up guys? Coach Geetzer here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my meta breakdown for September 2025. If you're enjoying my content, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to support further, check out my MetaFi link down in the description below. Now this tier list is going to be going over every part that I believe is meta relevant or popular, and every part that is newly released, starting from July up till the start of September. Now, the way the tiers are broken down are slightly different than the traditional letter-based systems with things like S tier, A tier. Uh, so here I have staple pick. Our staple picks are going to be parts that are generally the best in their category, um, things that are defining the meta for the game in general. But like I said, top of the category for whatever type, most commonly used for that. The strong picks are going to be parts that are still all right. They're still very strong parts. You'll be able to make top cut with them pretty easily if you're playing well, but they're just not as staple in the meta as something. For example, it's no surprise that Wizard Rod is like the best stamina type, so it's going to be a staple. But something that is weaker than it, but is still alright, will go in the strong pick tier. Outclass is going to be for parts that are still okay, but there are blades or other things that are in the other two categories here that do the same job but better than the part that is going to be placed here. And lastly, the for fun tier is going to be for everything else. Beyblade X is the game. Most importantly, we want to have fun. So if you're using a part from here, don't be discouraged. If you really like that piece and you want to play it, go right on ahead. But for those of you that are trying to do the best at tournaments, these parts are going to be the things that bring you victory. So, in the interest of time, there's a lot of parts in Beyblade right now. So, I'm just going to flash up the majority of the for fun tier so we don't talk about, or I don't spend too much time talking about them. If you have any questions about why a certain part is listed here, you can always drop a comment, I'll respond. Or you can check out my Metafy video that I did a while ago on a tier list, and I did go through every single part, and that's partly why I'm doing this now. So you can pause, check this out, but without further ado, I'm going to get into the parts that I have in front of us. First blade here is going to be Cobalt Drake. I believe it is outclassed now. Still probably around top 10 or so for weight, but other than that, its shape has a lot to be desired at this point. It's still okay as an anti-attack type blade. Can't be used for stamina anymore like it used to, and as a pure attack type, it's not very strong. Like I said, outclassed, anti-attacker. There's things that do that same role but better, so it's going to go here. Phoenix Wing. Phoenix Wing has seen a lot of play in the past, and it still sees a lot of play now, but I definitely think it is on a downward trend in the meta currently. It doesn't fare well against other attack types, and this meta right now is full of them. So you want to hope you're basically hoping that you catch a more passive opponent that you can run into off the rail. That's where Phoenix Wing shines, and that's why it shined a lot more in the earlier parts of the game. Right now, we just have a lot of blades that match it in weight and are better into other attack matchups. This is not. So it's gonna go in strong pick tier. It's gonna be a bit lower in this tier than it used to be. It's still a good pick. You can still do very well with a Phoenix Wing in your deck. Just hasn't seen as much tournament success as it used to, and that's just because of the amount of more aggressive builds that I've seen play currently. Now, Tyranno Beat is going to be an outclassed. It is another one of these anti-attack style blades. It has more attack power than Cobalt Drake, so it's going to go ahead of that. But other than that, it just doesn't do the job as well as it used to. Blades are getting heavier, and now that its weight advantage is kind of gone, it doesn't hit as hard as some other things, and it doesn't have the stamina to keep up with some other blades as well now. So it's going to be outclassed. Still see some tournament results here and there, but not the best. So it's going to go outclassed, but not the worst pick. Cobalt Dragoon. Now, I think a lot of people would instantly put it up here, but for me, it's going to go at the bottom of strong pick. Now, I don't really like this blade in the way it's positioned. It has a similar problem to Phoenix Wing, where it's just not a good against a bunch of these other attack types. And it's basically tied to Elevate, so we'll bring Elevate up here too and put it right next to it. These two are pretty much tied together. You don't see one without the other. Uh, all the other Dragoon builds are even worse than Dragoon E. This combo just struggles so much with attack. It's always turns into a liability for you in those style matchups. You're going to be losing a lot of 2 points due to bursting. But nothing else really does this spin equalizer type of style blade that this is. Nothing else does that in the meta right now, so it's going to go here. Um, it's a lot of work that you have to put in to get this combo to work, and all that work results you in getting 1 point in the end. I don't think it's worth it. It's going to lose you a lot more points than it's going to gain. But since there isn't anything else that fills this role, it'll go here, but it's going to be at the very bottom. Now, Whale Wave is going to go in the for fun tier. At this point, it's very outclassed. Its weight isn't enough to carry it anymore. The attacks are very inconsistent. Only thing it does have going for it is that weight, and things are catching up to it. So it's just going to go here. It's a fun blade, but nothing to write home about anymore. Now, SamuraiCalibur is the newest BX release that's came out in the game, and I've seen some very mid results with it. It's going to go in the outclass tier. It works as an okay stamina defense blade on a 160 free ball or low orb. That tends to balance it out pretty well. It's very stationary, but it struggles to beat Wizard Rod and Silver Wolf and things like that. And it will struggle a bit defensively. Its shape doesn't protect the underside very well, and there's a lot of upper attackers that we have going around, so that's not great for it. So it's just going to go in this outclass tier. It's all right. I could see it eventually moving up the strong pick if the right combo is found for it, but for now it's going to stay here. And yeah, still okay. If you really want to make it work, like I said, 160 free ball is probably my recommendation right now, but I wouldn't try to make this work too much. Drawn Buster, another outclass blade. It's a glass cannon, so it only gets 1 to 2 attacks off before it's completely out of stamina, basically. And it's not very great into other attack types, so right now it's going to go here. There's just things that do that big attack better and can last longer than it. Wizard Rod, like I said earlier in the explanation of the tiers, is a staple pick. It is the best stamina blade in the game, and arguably the best defense blade in the game as well. The most common build of Wizard right now is Wizard Rod Hexa. We don't see a lot of Wizard Rod Ball or Low Orb Free Ball, stuff like that, or at least as often. Those combos are still good. I still think the Hexa build is the best now. It's the best defensively. It has a good matchup, or at least a 50-50 matchup with Dragoon Elevate. So it's going to occupy this staple pick. It's always a good addition to a deck. It's always a great build around. It's a very consistent blade. Will get you your 1 point if you're looking for it. So yeah, staple pick for sure. I don't know when this will change, but if you want to build a competitive deck, this is definitely your first choice for stamina, anything stationary. Arrow Pegasus is also going to be in the staple pick tier. This blade excels at attack versus attack matchups, and there's a lot of them that happen in the meta currently. This blade has a lot of stamina, decent smash attacks against Wizard Rod and other stationary blades, and with the amount of stamina it has to back that up, it can get a lot of attacks up before it's finally out of stamina. The reason why I think it's better than Phoenix is because of the attack versus attack matchups. Phoenix will slow down a lot when it's hit, has a lot more recoil. Uh, Arrow Pegasus trades a little bit of that attack power to have way less recoil. So it's top of stable pick. There's a lot of attack versus attack. Pretty good on any generic attack setup, rush, low rush, level in the past. So just very good. great build around. Definitely good to base your deck around this first and then go off from there. Silver Wolf is going to go in the top of Shrunk pick here. It's very good against a lot of the meta blades, but it's not going to be your first option for a more passive stamina or defense build. That'll be Wizard Rod first, Silver Wolf second. So that's why it's going to occupy Strong Pick instead of Staple. Uh, I would argue that it's a bit more defensive than Wizard Rod, but the stamina difference is pretty big, and that's why Wizard Rod is just the king right now. So yeah, it doesn't use Hexa as well, but it uses Low Orb and things like Free Ball a lot better for pure defense than Wizard Rod. So in my opinion, if you're building your deck right now, you'll put the Hexa on Rod and the Ball or Low Orb or whatever on the Silver Wolf, but that can be interchangeable and they'll still be fine, and they'll probably still end up like this. Nightmail is definitely a strong pick as well. If you haven't seen the guide already, I really like Nightmail on Rush. It has a great matchup into the majority of the attack types right now, and still has enough attack power to get some over finishes, extreme finishes against Wizard Rod. Can still burst Dragoon at times. It struggles a bit with Silver Wolf because of that little ring on the bottom, but still really strong. Has a lot more stamina than these other attack types, except for maybe Arrow Pegasus and Hover Wyvern. Haven't seen much of this versus SharkScale yet, but even if that matchup isn't the best, it still has a bunch of other good matchups in the meta right now, so it's still worth picking. If your meta is very attack heavy, if you have a lot of people playing 3 attack types in their deck, Nightmail is the perfect pick for that. You'll see a lot of good results out of it. Impact Drake, honestly, I didn't even want to include Impact Drake on this list, but I know it's very popular. So I just wanted to give the explanation on why I think it goes in the for fun tier. Other than its weight, it has nothing good going for it. It's very recoily. It's not great against attack. It doesn't have good stamina, and the amount of attack that it does have is not even as strong as something like Phoenix Wing, Arrow Pegasus. There's just things that do its job way better, and it just doesn't have a good place. Like I said, if you like Impact Drake a lot, you can use it, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to win a tournament. So it's gonna go in the for fun tier. And yeah, it's not good. I wouldn't pick this. It would take a lot for me to have to pick an Impact Drake. Golem Rock. Golem Rock is okay. I think it fills the same role, same type of combos that SamuraiCalibur is used on, but SamuraiCalibur has less recoil and more weight. So SamuraiCalibur is slightly ahead of it in those same style of combos. Free Ball, Low Orb. You can put Golem Rock on Low Rush or Rush and use it as an anti-attack type, but Tyranno Beat, Nightmail will do that job better. But it's not a terrible pick. You can definitely see some results in a tournament with it, but I wouldn't recommend it personally. But if it's all you have, then you're gonna run it out there and hope for the best. Scorpio Spear, I used to be a lot higher on this blade than I am now. It's going to be top of Outclassed. It doesn't hit as consistently as a Phoenix Wing, and its attack versus attack potential is way worse when everything is getting shorter because of all the upper attackers that we have in the meta currently. So it's going to go in the Outclassed tier. Its weight alone can carry it sometimes, but that's only on aggressive setups. If we're talking about Scorpio Spear on free ball or things like that, I would honestly drop it all the way down to here. I don't think those combos are very good. Uh, they Scorpio Spear is not great defensively, so you turn into a free 2-point liability against your opponent, or for your opponent if they're on anything aggressive. And Scorpio Spear also doesn't have the stamina to compare with Wizard Rod or Silver Wolf. So you're just at a great disadvantage if you put this on free ball, low orb, things like that. Your best bet is to put this on low rush because of how tall it is. But even then, the upper attackers will send you all around the stadium off of any sort of good contact. Hover Wyvern is going to be stable pick for sure. Hover Wyvern's been in the meta for a bit ever since it's been released. Definitely not as flexible as things like Aeropegasus and the setups it can use. It's basically kick or low rush or bust, so you have to reserve those parts for Hover Wyvern, but still very good against attack types. Uh, can beat every stamina and defense type in the game if launched properly, and yeah, has a lot of stamina for attack types. Its one downfall is the amount of recoil it has, so you have to be very skilled when you're using it. It can backfire at times, but it's worth the risk in my opinion. And our last UX Beyblade is also going to go in the staple pick, which is the newly released Shark Edge, or not Shark Edge, Shark Scale. Um, Shark Scale is almost the same as Hover Wyvern, but slightly heavier, and I believe its matchup into Hover Wyvern is very good because of how low this metal sits. So Hover Wyvern struggles to get under this. It's pretty good against other attack types as well because of this. It's able to use its weight to knock around things like Phoenix Wing and things like that. But it's also a lot more flexible on its setups compared to things like Hover. Hover, like I said, is very particular in what it wants to use. Shark Scale, as long as you're even on the same height, I believe that's even better than being super low. I think being same height is the best. You can still get under them because of the way the metal sits on the blade, knock around opponents, and score some nice over and extreme finishes. I don't think going for the Ratchet Snipe build is very worth it because everything is mainly on high resistance bits right now. So the way the Shark Scale Blade is made isn't great at actually sniping ratchets. If you're doing something like that, Hover Wyvern is better. These two big wings grip onto the opponent's ratchet and do that a lot better. But this is still able to scoop up opponents and throw them around the stadium. So it's staple pick for sure, and that's just because of how good it is against other attack types. Getting into the CX Blades, Brave is going to go in Outclassed. It is just strictly worse than Phoenix Wing. Um, but it still fills that smash attacker role alright. But like I said, worse than Phoenix Wing, has even more recoil, and is just as bad against attack. Blast is going to go in strong pick. I think it's going to go right next to Silver Wolf, and that's just because of how versatile it is. The build I like the most is with Wheel here. Wheel is definitely the best all-around assist blade right now. Blast Wheel can be used on Low Rush, Free Ball, and Hexa, and all do very well. My favorite build is the Low Rush variation, but you can use it on Free Ball for pure stamina, Hexa for defense. Um, Blast also works very well on Jaggy, Slash, and Assault. These three make the combo sort of a budget Arrow Pegasus where it won't hit as hard and consistently, but it's still pretty good against attack because of the amount of stamina that Blast has and how much weight it has behind it. Not as good as Arrow Pegasus, but still pretty good. But I would recommend the wheel builds before that. But if you want to use Blast on Slash, let's say you don't have wheel, it's still pretty strong. Flame here is going to go in for fun tier. It's just too light. Um, Even with the Valkyrie chip, which we'll discuss in a second, it's not the best. Uh, the shape is great, but just not having enough weight to carry it. It's too tall because it's a CX blade. So for fun, still okay. You can maybe try to use it on defense or stamina, but there's a lot of other things that are better than it. The Valkyrie lock chip is going to go in the staple pick category. And that's just for any aggressive CX build you want to play or defensive CX build you want to play. That's where this metal lock chip is going to shine. If you're playing Blast with like free ball, you're not going to want to use this because you want as much outward weight distribution as possible to keep yourself spinning longer. But if you're using a defense type or an attack type, this inward weight will help keep you in the stadium longer. So that's it for blades and assist blades. We're in a very attack heavy meta if you can't tell. So a lot of the stamina style blades, the things that aren't great against attack types, are going to be lower down. But this is where we're at right now, in my opinion. Next with Ratchets, we're going to go from 1 to 0. All the 80 height ratchets are just not very playable. 160 is probably one of the best ratchets in the game. Can go on a lot of different things. Using this one to balance out some of the blades that are off balance is nice. The ability to get out of the pocket is nice. 170 I also will say is strong. The 1 millimeter difference doesn't really matter too much. So if you want to play two ones in a deck, 160 and 170 is a thing you can do. I actually like 170 on SharkScale because it doesn't really matter too much. The height of the blade kind of counteracts this the extra millimeter that you have here. 360 is also a strong pick. Definitely one of the best stamina-based ratchets we have. Um, I wouldn't use it for many attack setups because of the burst risk, but it's still alright for that if you're using a three-sided blade like Phoenix or Arrow Pegasus. But it's probably still the best stamina ratchet right now. 370 is probably going to be outclassed. It's just a strictly worse version of this. The newest ratchet height, 450. I haven't found any combos I really like on this right now. It's going to go into the outclass tier for me. The 4 style ratchets is burst too much. I don't like how much this rattles around because of the little white section that connects to the blade being a bit smaller. I don't like that rattling around. It makes it burst even more, and it makes your blades lose stamina when you're trying to bank, especially. If you bank your Beyblades a little bit and angle them, you'll see this ratchet and bit just rattling because of that little white piece in the top of the ratchet. So I don't personally like it. I'm sure we'll see other 50 height ratchets do a lot better because they're not 4. But if you really want to use it, you can on certain attack blades like Hover or Shark. If you're using it on Hover, be careful. This might burst a lot because Hover doesn't really cover the ratchet at all. Because of 450's release, though, 455 is pretty much irrelevant at this point. It's going to go in the for fun tier. Uh, this locking mechanism is awful. And now there's something even lower than it, so there's literally no reason to use this anymore. 560 is definitely weaker than the rest of these ratchets here right now. The 5-sided ratchets are still alright for attack. They're not great for stamina though. They can balance out things like Dragoon, but I do find myself using them time to time. They're okay on the actually like them on the blast wheel setups if you're using 760 somewhere else. But other than that, I'd rather just use something else. But they're still alright. It's definitely still a strong pick. 660 is gonna go in strong pick as well. I like this personally on Rod Hexa if I'm using 360 somewhere else. I liked it on Dragoon personally a bit ago. It's okay on Silver Wolf as well. And you could use it on Phoenix Wing, but it's a bit bursty. But it matches up very well, so it looks nice at least. Um, it's a little bursty, like I said. Not as bad as something like 4. 3 has more stamina than it though, but it's alright still. If you want to use another stamina style ratchet, 660 is a pretty decent choice. And then 670, same thing, but weaker just because of the 70 height. 760 is going to go up here, probably just behind 360. They're definitely used for different things. I personally like 760 on my attack types a lot because of the amount of weight that it provides. It also right now has a lot of value against Hover and Shark Scale because it protects the underside of your blade a lot. If you use 760 on things that are more aggressive, you'll see that once you destabilize Hover and Shark, even when you hit them later, you'll keep them destabilized because you'll just run into them with the 7 ratchet because of how thick it is, and you'll eventually keep pushing them down. So I've seen it all used on Shark, Scale, and Arrow the most. I know some people like Rod Hexa with 760 because of that same reason, but I don't like it in my opinion because of the way it scrapes. But the extra weight is really nice. 770 is same thing as 170. It's not. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. Or maybe slightly worse than 760. It's not as good as 170 is. But you can use it on. It used to see use on Silver Wolf a lot. Shark Scale can use it, like I said. Shark Scale can actually use 70 height ratchets pretty well. 960 is still one of the best all-around ratchets. I'll probably put it ahead of 1. You can use it for any type. It's pretty good burst resistance, good stamina, good everything. If you're not sure what to start out with on a blade, 960 is always a good safe option. 970 is the same thing but worse. And then 170, or not 170, 070 is gonna go at the top of Outclassed. I'm sure this could find a way into this strong pick section here. For now, it's gonna go here. I don't like how much recoil the bumps on zero produce. But it has a lot of weight. It's definitely the heaviest zero or 70 ratchet right now. So it can find some use. I've seen some players use it on SharkScale in Japan, but I personally prefer one for the attack power or 7 for the balance. And yeah, that's where our ratchets are right now. I don't think that this will change anytime soon. All these ratchets, especially the 60 heights, are just all pretty usable. And lastly, let's go through the bits. We're going to have our attack bits first, balance, and then stamina defense last. Low flat is outclassed now. There's no real reason to use this. I really don't like it. It self KOs a lot, doesn't have a lot of stamina. Cyclone is outclassed as well. It's just Saw some use early when it released, but now it's not worth playing when we have Rush and Low Rush. I'm going to talk about them both at the same time. They're pretty similar. They're definitely the most common attack bits, and like I said, first pick that I would use on an attack blade is going to be Rush or Low Rush. Low Rush is slightly slower than, or Rush is slightly slower than Low Rush. So if you want something a little faster, you can go Low Rush. You just have to be careful about self-extreming, especially. Rush is just overall just very generically good. Level, especially with the new mold in the Shark Scale set, is going to go into the Strong Pick tier. Um, very good balance bit. Great LED. You can use it on a multitude of things. Aero Pegasus uses it well. I've seen Shark Scale on it. Rod used to use it a bit in the past. I don't know about that build anymore, but still okay. Dragoon level is still alright. I wouldn't pick it over Elevate though. But yeah, level is definitely an interesting bit. I can see a lot of play and just a bit difficult to use. But that LED, if you have a lot of Dragoon Elevate in your meta, is worth considering at least. Low or under flat is and going to be the same thing as low flat here. Just not enough stamina. The height difference doesn't matter enough to sacrifice that stamina. It's too fast. It's a bit too hard to do control for what it's worth. So it's going to go here. I'm sure this would see some use before low flat now. So we'll just put it ahead of it. But I wouldn't recommend this on anything. I've tried it on a lot of different things. Nightmail, Shark Scale, and Hover. Those are like the three that I would recommend if you really want to use it. But not the greatest. Turbo is going to be for fun. The gimmick's really fun, but it doesn't really work well in actual battles. Um, Taper is going to go in Outclassed, and High Taper as well. I just don't really like this bit anymore. I think Kick is the same thing but better, so Kick will go in the Strong Pick tier. It's my favorite bit for Hover Wyvern, but it has some use on other things. I've seen Phoenix Kick, Arrow Kick, even Shark Scale Kick. Like, Kick has gotten really good in the past couple months, so it's going to go here. It has a lot of stamina, very easy to control, very easy to do lots of launch tech with, and that's part of the reason why I like it. Zap is going to go into the Outclass tier. Its LED is actually decent. The problem is with the 16 gears, it tends to self KO a lot. If you want something like this, I believe Point is better. So Zap has some good LED, but not as much as Level. They both have 16 gears, so you're going to pick the one that's just strictly better. Point is alright. I've seen some use on Hover. Decent on Arrow Pegasus. I don't really like the Phoenix Wing point combos anymore. There's too much stamina that is in all these other blades to make this useful now. So Point's still a strong bit though. If you have a good mold or you're really good with it, you can definitely see some great results. Merge, unfortunately, is very bad. It's not very controllable. Uh, the rubber just catches the stadium too easily and it will sling itself out. So it's going to go into the for fun tier. It's too tall as well. The amount of gears they put on it, plus all these other different things, just make it not worth trying. It actually does have some decent defense if it can outspin something. I think the main thing that this blade or this bit struggles with now is, as opposed to other generations, like we had Coat Sharp in Metal Fight Beyblade, and that was the first comparison that this had when it was initially announced. Um, that Tip was going up against Rubber Flat and R2F, and all these rubber bits or rubber tips just don't have the stamina that CS had, so that's why it worked so well. It also gripped the stadium well and all that. It defended well, but it also had the stamina. But in Beyblade X, all the attack types are on plastic flat bits, so they actually have more stamina than Merge. So even if Merge is able to keep itself in the stadium, you'll lose by outspin. So even though you were able to defend, it didn't get you anywhere. Um, Hexa is definitely top of strong pick. I almost want to put, actually, I'll put it in staple. It's just the best defense bit right now. It has a lot of LED, and it's part of the reason why Dragoon Elevate is getting pushed out of the meta right now. This thing has so much stamina, so much LED, especially a fresh one. A fresh one even can beat Rod, like Rod Hex on a fresh Hex can beat Rod Ball at times. So Hex is just great all around. Its one weakness is the amount of gears it has. If it's thrown into the gear line, it can self KO. That's really bad. But other than that, Hexa is super good right now. I feel like it's almost must like, well, that's why it's an staple pick. It's pretty much must pick for Rod right now if you want to see good success. It can be used on some other things, like I said, Blast and Wolf are still alright on it, but mainly Rod Hexa is just the best combo right now for it. Wall Ball, it's gonna go bottom of Outclassed almost for fun. It's slightly too tall. It's almost like a worse version of Hexa. It actually has some decent LAD, but its defense is way worse. It doesn't have the burst resistance that Hexa does, and it still has the issue of getting thrown into the line. So it'll burst a lot, self KO a lot. It's just not worth it. Normal ball will outspin it, so it's gonna go outclassed. You can maybe try to use it if you really want to, but I wouldn't try in my opinion. If you want to use wall ball, just use Hexa. Same thing but better. Ball is still a strong pick for stamina. Rod Ball is still a good combo. Ball on Wolf is still pretty strong. But right now, with the amount of attack being played, unless the bit is very good, you have to have high resistance. Otherwise, it's not worth it. So right now, Ball is gonna be down from where it used to be up here. Free Ball, same thing. Basically, has the same struggles as Ball. Orb is going to go outclassed because we have low orb. I think this is the best low resistance stamina bit that we have right now. Uh, Wolf low orb is very good defensively and has very good stamina. Rod low orb I've had very good success with as well. So if you want to use a pure stamina type, I think my recommendation right now would be Rod low orb, just to help defend you against a bunch of or the mass of attackers that you're going to be going against. So yeah, low orb best stamina bit right now, but still not good enough to make it into staple pick because of the amount of attack being played. Every deck is almost rush and low rush in it right now, so you're gonna be praying for some good luck and not getting overfinished, burst, extremed. It takes a lot of skill to get good use out of this. Under Needle, I'm gonna put at the top of Outclassed. With the amount of upper attackers, so Hover and Shark, this could see a resurgence in the meta or some sort of meta play just to defend against these. Its stamina is decent. It's not better than low orb or ball, but it has enough stamina to outspin the other attack types. So it could see some use. I've never been like the biggest fan of it. I don't like that it doesn't move as much. So it'll be outclassed for now. If something changes, it could move. And then lastly, we have High Needle. I think High Needle is just really bad. If you want to really use a needle bit, Under Needle is here. But this is where I think the Beyblade X meta is right now. Um, I'll update this in a month. I'll make a post on the community page. But this is where we're at right now. Top four blades are going to be Arrow, Shark, Hover, and Rod. And then we have all these other blades on here. You definitely want to make sure your deck is some sort of combination of these three blades if you're trying to compete at the highest level. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the description below or the comment section. And I'll see you guys later.